Welcome to Pause and Play. I'm Jessica. This is your pocket companion, a place to pause, to play, and to find your way back home to yourself. You don't have to do anything, just be here.
Every word I wrote, I never sent.
Guidepost 8. It's okay to make mistakes. Releasing perfectionism and embracing growth. Mistakes are not proof of failure, they are evidence of effort, of learning, of being brave enough to try. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. On your inhale, say silently, I am learning. On your exhale, say, I release perfection. Repeat this 3 times. Then place your hand on your heart and whisper, I am allowed to be human. Let this truth soften your edges and ground you in grace. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of the journey. They're not flaws in the process, they are the process. Each misstep is a stepping stone. Each detour, a teacher. You don't have to get it all right to be worthy of love, growth, or belonging. Perfection is a heavy mask to wear. It keeps us frozen, afraid to mess up, to risk, to be real. But the truth is, mistakes are where the magic happens. That's where we learn, that's where we expand. This mantra invites you to make room for your own humanness, to release the grip of shame, to see your missteps not as proof that you're broken, but as proof that you are becoming. You are not meant to be flawless, you're meant to be free. Personal story. Mistakes used to feel like heavy stones in my pockets, quiet reminders of all the ways I had fallen short, things I should have done differently, words I wished I could take back. I believe that if I made a mistake, I was a mistake. Judgment and shame. I am a recovering perfectionist. The fear of messing up kept me small, careful, always trying to be right instead of trying to get it right. I remember one of the first times that belief was challenged. I was tired and overwhelmed, juggling more than I could hold, and snapped at my child over something so small. The look on her face stopped me cold. I wanted to rewind time, to do it differently, but I couldn't. So I took a deep breath. I knelt down. I met her eyes and said, I'm sorry. That wasn't fair. You didn't deserve that. I made a mistake. She looked at me wide-eyed and teary and whispered, It's okay, Mama. In that moment, something cracked open. The repair didn't just soothe them, it softened me. I didn't have to be perfect to be a good mom. I had to be honest, willing to reflect, willing to connect. That wasn't the last mistake I made. There were others. Forgotten things, sharp words, burnt dinners. One evening, after pulling a blackened casserole from the oven, my shoulders slumped and shame crept in fast. I can't do anything right, my inner critic hissed. But then my daughter shrugged and said, Let's have breakfast for dinner. We made scrambled eggs and toast and pancakes and laughed as we called it second dinner. That moment reminded me what my kids really need. Not perfection, just presence. Over time, I began to understand that repair is more powerful than perfection, that naming our mistakes with gentleness builds trust, not just with others, but within ourselves. I've started practicing that same grace in other areas of life: work, relationships, creativity. Mistakes no longer mean I'm failing, they mean I'm learning. They mean I'm engaged, they mean I'm human. I still feel the pull of shame sometimes, but now instead of carrying those moments like stones, I carry them like stories, each one a reminder that I can try again, that I can be real, that I can be loved, even when I get it wrong. Science meets soul. Mistakes can trigger a stress response, especially if we've internalized the idea that getting it wrong means we are unworthy, unsafe, or unlovable. This activates the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, or the dorsal vagal state, which is shut down. But when we respond to mistakes with self compassion, we regulate our nervous system. We shift into ventral vagal state, where learning and reflection are possible. Self compassion rewires the brain to be more resilient, adaptive, and open to growth. Shame shuts it down. Grace invites us forward. If we fear mistakes, we fear living. We stay small. We avoid risks. We silence our voice. But when we embrace mistakes as part of the process, we become braver, more creative, more free. We learn that our worth isn't based on performance, it's based on presence. Mistakes don't mean we're wrong, they mean we're trying. And that is something to celebrate. Try this. Daily practices. Normalize mistakes by saying aloud, "Of course I made a mistake. I'm learning." Reflect on a recent misstep and name 3 things it taught you. Write a permission slip. I give myself permission to mess up and grow. Say something imperfect on purpose today. Let go of being polished. Try something new and expect to stumble and laugh with yourself. Repair something gently. Write an apology. Have a hard conversation. Create a mantra card that says, "Mistakes mean I'm growing." Celebrate a mistake as a success story of bravery. Share a mistake with someone else and connect through vulnerability. Keep a lessons I learned journal. Pause and reflect. What mistakes am I still carrying? And what would it feel like to lay it down? What message did I receive about failure growing up? What does my inner critic say when I mess up? How can I meet that voice with compassion? What would it feel like to forgive myself? What is this mistake trying to teach me? How do I treat myself when I make an error? What am I afraid a mistake might mean about me? Where am I being too hard on myself right now? What does grace look like today? Pause deeper. The pause after a mistake is a sacred place. It's the place where we choose shame or growth, blame or curiosity, hiding or honesty. When we slow down and breathe, we disrupt the reflex to criticize. We create room for something kinder, wiser, more human. You're allowed to pause, to feel, to reflect, and then you get to try again. Play and connect. Make a messy wins jar. Write down moments when imperfection led to something good. Turn a past mistake into a comic or cartoon. Paint with your non dominant hand to embrace imperfection. Invent a silly award for a recent flop. Tried something new trophy. Dance through a mistake, literally. Move it through your body. Write a short story where the mistake is the hero. Make a collage of people who failed before they succeeded. Create a "You Tried" medal and pin it somewhere visible. Role play a do-over scene for something that still stings. Play a game that guarantees imperfection, like Pictionary or improv. Play deeper. Play is where mistakes are expected. It's the rehearsal space of life. In play, we learn to fall and laugh, to try and adapt, to mess up and try again. Let play teach you how to hold your humanity lightly. Let it remind you that the goal isn't perfection, it's presence. Integration practices. Keep a running list of mistakes I made and survived. When you notice self-criticism, pause and ask, what would compassion say? Create a ritual for moving through mistakes. Breathe, name, learn, release. End your day by naming one moment you showed up, even imperfectly. Track one growth insight from every hard moment this week. Use a red pen in your journal. Reclaim it from correction into reflection. Say aloud, I can make mistakes and still be good. Share a mistake with a trusted friend and invite connection. Let something be unfinished or imperfect on purpose. Reflect weekly. What mistakes help me grow the most? Mistakes are not the end of the story. They're plot twists, they're character development, they're where resilience is born. Integration means allowing your mistakes to become part of your becoming, to see them not as scars, but as seeds. You are not here to get it to be right. You're here to get it right. You're here to be real, to learn, to grow. Art therapy prompts. Create a growth from mistakes timeline with visuals. Paint over a mistake and transform it into something beautiful. Doodle what your inner critic looks like, and then what your inner nurturer looks like. Make a mistake map of lessons learned from detours. Collage symbols of second chances and do-overs. Turn a ripped paper into a new piece of art. Trace your hand and write, I am still worthy in the palm. Make a comic of your most embarrassing moment with a soft ending. Illustrate what grace feels like in your body. Create an oops to insight flip book. Space for personal exploration. Journal prompt. What would change if I believed mistakes were part of the plan? Doodle prompt. Draw a broken object being mended with gold. Collage prompt. Gather images that reflect courage, softness, and starting again. Affirmation. I can make mistakes and still be enough. This affirmation anchors you in grace. It releases the lie of perfection and reclaims the truth of being human. Mistakes are part of living fully, and so is loving yourself through them. Quote, there is no failure, only feedback. Robert Allen. Final thought. You will mess up. You will fall short. You will say the wrong thing, and still you are worthy. Mistakes are not evidence that you're failing. They are evidence that you're living, learning, and daring to grow. Be gentle with your becoming. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be real. Community invitation. What mistake taught you something valuable? What did it show you about yourself, your values, your strength? Share your story or your art, your laugh, your truth. Let's celebrate the beauty of being imperfect together.
Letters from the porch, still yours.
Thanks for sharing this time with me. Take a breath and carry whatever feels right with you. I'll meet you here again soon. Pause and play.